and welcome to another episode of Capital City News. I'm your host, Stephanie Sewer, and I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get going. Have you been wondering about Fleet Block's future? Think less fleet, more community. Up next are the latest updates.
It's been my commitment from day one as mayor to unlock city properties that have sat stagnant and create community benefit. This block is an 8-acre step forward toward that goal. It's really rare for a city to have an opportunity like this one, with almost an entire city block ready to be built from the ground up, especially in Utah, where our blocks are particularly giant. Right now, this lot is a barrier between beautiful neighborhoods, but soon it's going to be a bridge. It's going to be alive with affordable homes, welcoming green space and public art that honors its history as a space where social justice matters.
It turns out some of the busiest workers in Salt Lake City don't have desks. They have something much cooler: wings. I'm buzzing to introduce this next segment where we check in with the Downtown Library's rooftop bees.
Hi everyone, SLC TV here on top of our roof here at the Salt Lake City Public Library, where we're talking bees, I assume.
Hi, I'm Amber Laver. I'm a librarian and the beekeeper here at the library.
So why bees?
Well, at first the bees came in 2010. We had a city beekeeper named Frank, and him and his Boy Scout troop were putting bees around the city in different places. He also kept bees on the roof of the U, and he just thought our roof would be a really great place for them. And as time went on, we discovered that the bees were such a great source of knowledge and information for people, and so they've been here since then.
Cool, I love it. It's so cool. It's so cool that we have bees on our roof. We're obviously going to be taking a look at the bees. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're wearing?
We're wearing protective coats. These ones are ventilated for if it gets too hot outside, which is nice in the dead heat, because it's best if you look at a hive when it's high sun, lots of sun, and it's really warm, so the bees are very comfortable.
Amazing.
And you don't change the internal temperature or moisture too much of their hive.
Amazing. Let's go take a look.
Okay.
So, tell us what we have here.
This is a frame of honey. And this is uncapped honey, so it's not quite ready yet. What's interesting is the honey has to reach a certain kind of density, and then they cap it, and then it reaches a certain kind of density, and then it's honey ready to go. If we were to harvest this honey, it would be too runny, too watery. But they're working on it. It's a beautiful frame full of honey. And they've already started capping it up here in the corner, which is great. And yeah, so this is some of their excess. Bees are natural hoarders, so they'll make way more than they need, but
So cool.
this right here is a vent to help keep the bees hive. But bees, they propolis everything, and they're filling it in with propolis.
Wow.
Probably how they want it though. So it lets in as much air as they want or not. They have a whole system.
That's so cool.
And that is part of their job, is to keep that temperature in their hive and the humidity and all that stuff. They do that through sealing with the propolis, through beating the wings on their bodies. They do all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
Amazing.
Like a whole little world in there.
We survived. We're back outside. So, Amber was telling me that they use the bees here at the library, not only as something which is really cool, because it's very cool, but also as a teaching tool. So what would you like people to know about bees in general, or when they come to the library?
I think what I really want people to know or even understand is how important pollinators are to our world and to our agriculture. And even though we have honeybees here and they're really great and they're so cool to look at, the most important pollinator are our native pollinators. And we have thousands of native pollinators here in Utah. And so part of the bee classes, or when we talk about bees, we like to talk heavily about native pollinators and things that you can do to support them in your own yard without having honeybees, like these little watering stations, or planting native plants that help native pollinators, or even taking a little extra time to clean up all those dead leaves because they live in those too, or even letting your dandelions hang out for a little longer because they're pollinators for food.
Awesome. So basically,
Yeah.
not everyone should have bees, but there are still things you can do to help our local bees here in Utah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's it for this interview. The lack of bee puns in this segment has been unbelievable. And final words from Amber. What do you got?
Well, please come and see our hives here and ask any questions you have about honeybees. And when you go home, you can research ways to help your native pollinators and maybe even put a little watering station in your yard.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It turns out that a little drizzle can't ruin a good commute. Here's a look at this month's Mayor's Bike to Work Day.
You guys are the dry guys. Thank you for showing up a little wet. I think it's gonna be dry as we head out this morning. As you know, we're gonna be taking a section of the 9-line trail that has become a super popular part of Salt Lake's infrastructure. John and his team installed some infrared counters on the trail that you might have noticed. And in the month of May, was it June also?
April and May.
April
I
and-
went to June yet.
We don't have the June data yet, but we had 37,000 cyclists and walkers per month
I believe it.
on the 9-line. That is huge. That's 37,000 trips that weren't That's on the 9-line. And I want you to think about the 9-line as a really important part of something larger, which is the green loop. And the green loop is really almost complete by having the 9-line trail in place. The beautification part isn't there yet, but the trips are. The importance of it is the economic stimulant on heading south is obvious. And we see the green loop going north on 2nd East. And I want you to envision what that might be like with thousands more shade trees, great biking infrastructure, maybe stormwater collection and bioswales, dog parks, maybe pickleball along the way, playgrounds for kids, and vehicle passage possible. We call the Civic Center, that block between City Hall and Library Square on 2nd East. That's our first next chunk of the green loop.
As students return to school, we must all do our part to keep our streets safe. Whether driving, walking, or biking, please stay alert and look out for one another. If you are driving, always be on the lookout for pedestrians and cyclists. Keep at least 3 feet away from bicyclists when passing. Slow down near crosswalks and bus stops and be ready to stop. And always follow school bus traffic rules. If you're driving in the same direction as the school bus, always stop if you see the red flashing lights and the stop arm is extended. If you are driving in the opposite direction of the school bus and there is no median or physical barrier, always stop and wait until the bus begins to move again before you resume driving. So remember, slow down and be extra cautious and obey all traffic laws. Help create a safer environment for students and pedestrians in and around school zones and bus stops. Get ready for this week's History Minute, because before basketball games, concerts, and conventions, this used to be a palace made out of salt. That's right, we're covering the historic Salt Palace.
During the 1800s, community gathering palaces had become fashionable in cities. Minneapolis had an ice palace, Sioux City a corn palace, and so Salt Lake City decided it required a salt palace. Local businessmen and members of the community rallied to begin construction in 1899. They chose famed Salt Lake architect Richard Cletting to design the building and located it on 900 South between Main Street and State Street. The building featured salt in every stage of its construction. The wooden frame was sprayed with powdered salt, the interior walls were made of wood saturated in brine that deposited salt crystals over the entire surface, and rock salt slabs were cut into pillars and arches. Add to that thousands of lights over the entire building, and Salt Lake had a gathering place it could truly be proud of. It quickly became a popular spot for dances and gatherings. At one point it played host to a steam-powered carousel and the first wooden bicycle racing track in Salt Lake City. The popularity would not be long-lived, however. At 3:30 a.m. on the morning of August 29, 1910, almost exactly 11 years after the Salt Palace opened, a fire broke out, completely destroying the building. The site became known as Majestic Park, and the bicycle races and community gatherings continued. A pavilion was constructed on the site of the old Salt Palace, and it housed a skating rink, auditorium, and dance floor. In 1914, a fire engulfed the bicycle track, and then a snowstorm collapsed the pavilion in 1916. And this ended effectively the era of the old Salt Palace and Majestic Park.
Well, that's it for another episode of Capital City News. Remember, it's your best way to stay informed and engaged with all that's happening in the Salt Lake City government. You can do that by following us on social media at SLC.gov, tuning in to Channel 17, or subscribing to us on YouTube. And if you made it this far, I'm proud of you. I'll see you guys next time.